Greetings everybody, Gleekon here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. On our last episode we were reading Beyond the Dark Portal, and we kind of read that novelization of the attack at Auchindoun where Khadgar fought off against Dentarg, the Ogre Mage, beheaded him, and the Alliance easily took the Citadel, so Kargath Bladefist was defeated. According to Chronicles, he did escape into the Bone Waste. They don't really talk anything about the nature of his defeat in the novel. And they realize that they're going to have to split their forces. So exactly as it was described in Chronicles, Kurdran and Danath, they go south. They go to the Black Temple in Shadowmoon Valley to take the 3 artifacts back and stop Ner'zhul, where Teralia and Illyria, the rest, Khadgar, they're going to go north and into the Blade's Edge mountain regions to try to get the Skull of Gul'dan, because Khadgar needs both if they're going to seal off the Dark Portal forever. All right, so stay a while and listen to this one. It's a Chronicles telling of the Battle of Auchindoun, which is kind of neat that we, all the way back in Warcraft 2, we have a Battle of Auchindoun. Way before Chronicles is written, way before any of that lore, there's a place called Auchindoun that's already sort of beginning to be thought about in the minds of the creators. Ner'zhul and the orcs were disappointed to hear how fast Hellfire Citadel had fallen, but they already had a considerable head start on the Alliance. The Horde knew this land, and they were moving quickly. It didn't seem possible that their enemies could catch up to them. Unfortunately for Ner'zhul, Kurdran Wildhammer and his Griffin Riders had decided to scout ahead. They found the war chief and his small army at the edge of the Bone Wastes, west of Shadowmoon Valley. The dwarves rained hell upon the orcs, bombarding them with impunity. Unless Ner'zhul and his people found a safer route to the Black Temple, they would soon die. There was only one such path nearby, through the Draenei tomb city of Auchindoun. Much of the holy site was in ruins, but many of its crypts and tunnels were intact. During the Horde's war against the Draenei, Gorfind had learned much about Auchindoun. He knew of little-used passageways that led toward Shadowmoon Valley, paths that Ner'zhul and his forces could travel through to elude the Sons of Lothar and get closer to their destination. Auchindoun was a haunted and twisted place. It would not be safe to enter, but Ner'zhul had no alternative. As he led his forces into the tomb, the Griffin Riders launched a bold new attack, one that they would soon regret. Kurdran was knocked from his mount and captured by the Horde. Before the other dwarves could rescue him, he was taken into Auchindoun's darkened corridors. Kilrog Deadeye interrogated Kurdran, hoping to learn about the Alliance's true numbers. The dwarf held his tongue, even under unspeakable torture. I wonder if that's reflected in one of the 4 dungeons. Danath Trollbane's ground forces were not far away. When they arrived at Auchindoun, some of the Griffin Riders explained the situation. It would be very dangerous to rescue Kurdran. In Auchindoun's tight quarters, a large force was little more effective than a small one, and the orcs knew the terrain. They would be capable of outmaneuvering Danath no matter how many troops he brought with him. An unexpected source of aid presented itself. An outcast Arakoa named Grizik had been following the Sons of Lothar as they pursued the Horde south. He had no love for the Horde. Years ago, Chieftain Kargath had toppled the high Arakoan capital Skyreach. His orcs had killed nearly all of its inhabitants, and they had captured High Arakoa and thrown them into the cursed Sethek Hollow. Oh yeah, if you remember that, when they were kind of under the rage, the thoughtless rage that came about from drinking the demon blood. Grizik was one of those unfortunate prisoners. He emerged from Sethek Hollow as an outcast, warped and twisted by the region's shadowy energies. Eager for vengeance, Grizik offered to lead the Alliance through Auchindoun. Guided by the Arakoa, Danath and his soldiers stormed through the tomb city. They moved carefully, avoiding the Horde's ambushes, and methodically searched Auchindoun. In time, they liberated Kurdran. Yet Ner'zhul was nowhere to be found. Only Kilrog and the remnants of his Bleeding Hollow clan stalked Auchindoun. They had volunteered to occupy the Alliance while the rest of the Horde escaped to the Black Temple. It was not simply nobility that drove Kilrog to make this sacrifice. Years ago, he had performed a ritual that granted him a vision of his own death. He now realized that Auchindoun was the place where he would breathe his last breath. The Bleeding Hollow fell upon the Alliance forces. As blood spilled across Auchindoun, Danath confronted Kilrog. The two engaged in a brutal duel that echoed the Tomb City's halls until Danath plunged his blade through the orc's throat. With their chieftain dead, the rest of the Bleeding Hollows scattered or surrendered. Kilrog's sacrifice was not in vain. He had given Ner'zhul the time he would need to safely reach the Black Temple with the rest of the Horde. Alright, so that's interesting. So it's not like this mega battle. It's almost like a dungeon, like an instance. And also, I mean, I think, the story's set up for the Arakoa to be an ally of the Alliance. It's something, I don't know why that ever doesn't happen, what falls apart there. But alright, so they've pushed through Terokkar Forest region. They're ready. They can go right to Shadowmoon Valley. Obviously, something's going to happen. They're not going to be there in time to stop the ritual. So, we shall see on one of the next episodes. But this episode is in the pipe, 5x5. I thank everyone for listening, for watching. I appreciate you all. See you next time on Lore of Warcraft.